Game Pass, it's the future. It's the future of gaming. It's the future of Xbox. It's the future of gaming. We've said it many times.
It's the future of gaming, Xbox, and gaming.
Xbox and gaming.
Yeah.
Xbox is the future of gaming.
Yeah.
So is Game Pass. Said it many times to everybody who...
all those haters?
All the haters. All the one-star Andes who left us a one-star review because they said I was saying it too much, and Game Pass will never be. Game Pass sucks. Game Pass, they're not going to make money. Game Pass will never be the future. You're wrong. Well, guess what, mother...
Easy.
I had to stop myself.
Well, get to the filter kick.
Guess
you
what?
have a filter.
Guess
That's
what? No, seriously, though. Sony Spartacus... It's the new Game Pass. They are falling in line with the Game Pass. It just makes sense, right? We're in a streaming world. This is the future of entertainment. It's the future of all entertainment. It's gone the way with music. It's gone the way with movies. Why would it not go the way with video games? I think Xbox was incredibly smart to get in first. From Bloomberg, starting right off the bat, Sony Corp's PlayStation division is planning a new subscription service to compete with rival Microsoft Corp's popular Xbox Game Pass, according to people familiar with Sony plans and documents reviewed by Bloomberg. Now, here we go. The service, codenamed Spartacus, will allow PlayStation owners to pay a monthly fee for access to a catalog of modern and classic games. Said to the people who asked not to be identified, well, of course not, your ass is going to get fired. Because they weren't authorized to speak to the press about the plans. The offering will likely be available on the smash hit PlayStation 4, which has sold more than 116 million units. It's planned to launch in the spring, and it will merge PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now. Xbox innovating. Xbox leading the way. Mm-hmm. Everybody said they couldn't do it. Everybody asked, well, how are they going to make money? This isn't going to work. They're not going to sell consoles. This is going to, they're also on PC. Why buy an Xbox? Well, Xbox Series S, the number one selling console on Black Friday. Smart move. Well done. Congratulations, PlayStation. I mean, I think this is the future. I think this underscores that subscription-based gaming is the future of at least this generation, if not for generations to come. How much does this matter? Does Sony jump in? Hurt? Help? Xbox Game Pass? Spicy. Thoughts on this news, this rumor, this leak?
It's a rumor leak, so
it's reportedly.
It's a reported leak happening, but it's
confirmed.
I
think that's between somewhere in between rumor and leak. It's reportedly.
Okay, so it's up there in the column.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was Jason Schreier that wrote this article, and he's usually pretty. His sources are pretty good.
His sources
are pretty good.
His sources are
pretty good. Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna take it as a consumer perspective.
Yep.
Because this is just...
I mean, that's what we are.
We like to play games.
XoneBros, your consumer perspective show.
We're
not journalists.
That's all I care about is playing these.
You just heard our unprofessionalism. We're not journalists.
Exactly.
We're gamers.
We like to game, and this has a huge benefit to a lot of people out there. So a lot of Sony fans, maybe exclusive Sony fans, because I kind of am. I like my PlayStation. I like.
Well, you're not
Xbox.
exclusively, but you are a Sony fan.
But that's what I'm saying. So those on the PlayStation will now be able to taste the fruits of what a membership like this actually can bring to the table. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. I have conversations with people all the time that don't know Game Pass exists, where it's like, well, you could either buy the game or you could just get Game Pass for like 3 months and then own 300 games and get that game that you were going to buy anyways. This is just a move that I think Sony needed to make because of just the power of what Game Pass brings. And I think ultimately it's going to completely benefit us gamers entirely. So it's one of those moves, unlike other moves I see in like this. In some of the other
Twitch
stream, those go anti-consumer. This is a move that is entirely prosumer.
Yeah,
I don't think that there is anyone out there that can have an argument how this is going to hurt the industry in any way. For consumers.
Yeah, I think if there is an argument, it would probably be like, well, Xbox and PlayStation, they're just going to eat up all developers, and we'll have the centralized of developers. There won't be independent studios. But I don't actually think that's the case. I actually think this helps independent studios because it's an easy way. If you've made a good game, The difficult thing is getting eyeballs on your game.
Yeah,
These subscription services allow people to do that.
I mean, how many games on Game Pass have you played where you found it on Game Pass, you had no idea it existed, it was free with the service, and you played it and you really enjoyed it, and you would not have played it otherwise?
yeah, a lot.
A lot. And this platform is a really good way to showcase for developers to be like, we don't have exactly the budget to get out and advertise and everything. Let's hop on this train, and then hop on this, and people will touch our game.
Touch it.
Touch the game.
Touch the
So
game. Yeah,
I think it's a total win for sure.
On consumer friendly, I think where it is good, especially if you're an Xbox fan and you've been into Game Pass, you've been converted to Game Pass. There's only so long that a company can continue to innovate and then dominate a space before you do need competition in order to ensure that you continually have next level features. And I think from a competition standpoint, it will help both the Game Pass the Game Pass subscription, continue to be the amazing deal that it is, and it will help the Sony Pass also become that. Is Sony jumping in too late?
I don't think so. Well, it would have been probably more beneficial to have jumped in sooner, but I don't think Sony expected this to work.
I agree. They went a completely different route.
They wanted to. I mean, with all the moves that they were doing, it looked as though they wanted to keep with the traditional route because it was working for them anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't think they could have done this sooner because of the direction they were taking. This is probably as soon as they could have made something like this with licensing, with who knows what all the behind the scenes handshakes it takes to make something like this happen.
Yeah.
And investment, especially in the investment for something like this. So I think they had to eventually. We've talked about it on the show for years. They have to eventually because it works. And that's the thing is it's man, it's been so long since I've been actually in a class in school, but I remember learning about like the first mover advantage, stuff like that, and when there's a space, everyone's gonna make fun of me for trying to be smart, but this is what I'm gonna do. When there's a space, an industry where there's not a lot of players in it, let's say like when I was in school, it was the airline industries. That's what we would talk about. But in this case, let's talk about the gaming industry. If somebody makes a move and it doesn't work, they immediately pull back. But if somebody makes a move that's different, that works, then the other brands have to follow suit and do it along with it, or they fall far, far behind. And I think this is exactly that case. I think there's a name for it. I can't remember. It was in my college years when I learned about this. But
no, I agree. Jordan, give me your thoughts and impressions. What does this mean for Game Pass, if anything?
Well, no, I think it's exciting. As a proud owner of a regular priced PlayStation 5, I'm excited for this to come. Reportedly next spring, right?
Yeah.
No, I actually don't think it's a disadvantage for Sony to jump in late because I kind of think of them as like a Disney Plus. I think they have the back catalog and the money to,
They also have the same as Disney Plus. They also have the benefit of seeing others do it before, what worked, what didn't work.
Well, I think where Sony's going to dominate at first, is their back catalog because you're going all the way back to the original PlayStation. You're talking, I mean, we have a lot of these games already through like HD remakes, but I mean the original Metal Gear Solid series, the Spyro series, but they remade those. But anyway, they have a lot of content to pull from. Jak and Daxter, all the Naughty Dog stuff. They have a ton of content to pull from. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what they do and what they offer. I think the reason Game Pass is so dominant right now is one, it has a lot of the old stuff, a lot of indie stuff, which is great and helps. But it also has new releases like a Halo Infinite campaign, a Forza Horizon 5, whenever the next Gears comes out.
Sea of Thieves came out on that,
Yeah, so it has first-party exclusives, new games for the next generation of consoles. Will Sony have PS5 games on there?
Yeah.
Or Sony first?
I mean, I think if it's the same, I would imagine. I imagine you have to, or else you're
Yeah.
your service will fall flat, and it'll be so easy for your competitor, Microsoft in this case, to paint the benefit of
because,
Game
like I
Pass.
said, I think Sony's going to do really good with the back catalog, especially if they just take all their first party titles from let's just say the PlayStation 4 era alone, which they kind of already did with their. When you get a PS5, you can subscribe and get a bunch of the PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it's a list of games you can get. All those would be a huge benefit to that service. In addition to even some of their, PlayStation 3, they have a good back catalog.
Yeah.
Will their new games be on it? All their, first party games, all the Sony studio games? If it is, that would be great, because then you're talking, the new God of War, the new what's the one with Alloy? Horizon.
Yeah.
The new Horizon game. Gran Turismo, right? And then the other thing that I think Microsoft does really well, which I think is not as front and center, but I think a really underrated feature, is the fact that Game Pass Ultimate gives you PC stuff as well.
See, that's the thing.
Will Sony do that?
I was gonna mention that. Do they have how many PC titles?
They have been slowly pushing their
Like Horizon is on PC.
Horizon is on PC. I believe Detroit Become Human is on PC, and I want to say there's one more that's on PC.
They've been toying
but
with it.
I feel like they've been throwing it out there, and maybe it was a test to see if they put it on their pass.
Yeah. Well, let's think if they don't do a PC version, what would their pricing kind of be? And also, chat's asking what this is called. I believe is this
It's
the
code
code
name.
name?
It's
Codename
codename
Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Codename
No one knows what the actual.
Spartacus.
They should just call it
Yeah.
Spartacus. That,
Half the
Sony
time,
Spartacus.
half
that,
the time
that,
the code names are better.
that
Yeah,
is better.
that's-
Sony Spartacus. That's awesome.
So do we want to have a discussion about pricing and how do they just straight up match it?
I think
so-
you have to at least match it. I don't think you could come out more, because it's going to be hard to sell the benefit. Because Game Pass is a known quantity. It's a known entity. You know what you're getting with it. It's got it's got a track record already. You have to at least match it, if not discount your pass at first and then slowly raise it over time.
Well, it was so I don't know if it was in the Bloomberg article, but Pure Xbox also had an article on it, and they talked about they're going to have a tier system, which if you think about it, Game Pass kind of has a tier system. There's Game Pass and then Game Pass Ultimate.
Sure.
It wouldn't
Right.
be a Windows product if there wasn't a tier system.
Yeah.
The Enterprise.
So-
Game Pass Enterprise.
It also sounds
It comes with Microsoft Office.
it also
365.
it also sounds like Sony is going to basically get rid of the PlayStation Now and put it in, like, they're going to keep the branding PlayStation Plus and kind of get rid of PlayStation Now. So I would assume PlayStation Now is just going to be absorbed by their version of Game Pass or Spartacus. And then it'll all be encompassed in maybe the PlayStation Plus. You'll have like PlayStation Plus Gold, PlayStation Plus Platinum. You know what I mean? And that's how they'll do their tier system.
Yeah.
But again, I think where Microsoft has a slight advantage is the PC marketplace.
Yeah.
And the reason I think they can do it, I think Sony can do it. I think it'll be harder for Sony to do it because Microsoft already has a platform on the PC that's called Windows, and they literally just built Game Pass into Windows. So it's easily accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, where it
How
talks to
does
each other.
Sony do that? Are they going to have to do they do that? Do
Well,
they
you can
create
make
their,
a separate
do they create their own
application.
app for it?
Yeah.
So this may be a dumb question, but Sony is, a lot of the arguments for Sony being a great console is their exclusives. Do their exclusives be free with their version of the
Well,
Game
that's what I'm
Pass?
talking. That's what I mean when I say they're first party titles, because Microsoft's exclusives, Halo, Forza, Sea of Thieves, are all on their service.
Yeah, but don't they own the developers?
Well, yeah. Sony does. I think Sony owns the developers too. So like, like Insomniac, Sony bought them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like Naughty Dog, does Sony own
I
Naughty
believe
Dog?
Sony.
I believe so. It's Sony
does
Studios.
own
yeah.
them.
Okay. Well, see, that's why I said this
yeah.
might be a stupid question.
Yeah. For everybody that now says in comments saying, "I can't believe you don't know that," we are an Xbox podcast.
Yeah.
I do. Huckam S has a great suggestion in chat. They should give a Sony Walkman away with every
Heck
subscription.
yeah.
That would be. They should bring back cassettes. Are while not being the most convenient, they're still friggin' cool. Like they feel cool. A cassette feels cool, man.
It can be the
Feels
new
important.
cassettes. Can be the new vinyl.
It could be the new vinyl.
Oh, well, I guess. Although vinyl has that like warmth to it where a cassette doesn't.
Yeah, super.
The warmth
true.
sound.
It's true. Super Shocker in chat says, this
But-
is why I love competition. Now Xbox will have to bring it to stay on top. Amen.
But cassettes have that sweet rewind sound.
Also,
Yeah,
there's nothing like getting mad at someone and pulling out all the cassette tape.
and ruined it.
Ruining it for them.
Straight up ruin.
No.
But then you can tape it together and have it just glitch for a second and it still work. Can CDs do that? Can records do that? If you
Well, you
break
could-
a record, it's done.
Yeah, that's true.
But
is
if
true.
you're careful, you
Yeah,
could
you
just
could
with the tweezers and the tape.
Yeah, but see, cassettes are cool, man.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Yeah, when we get more
when their Walkman would pop up and you could slide it in and put it down, that feels good.
Well, and then you get remember those headphones with the puffiness that just went around your ears
Over the top,
the
yeah.
little.
Yeah. When we get more, sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say when we get more details on this and pricing and what their tiers and levels are going to be, that's when it'll be interesting. But I think it's exciting for PlayStation owners,
Yeah.
and I think it's exciting for Xbox owners because now Microsoft has to be like, oh, what are they offering now? How do we top that? You know what I mean?
think we as a podcast have been vindicated.
Yes.
Were we ever? I don't know what the word. Undicated?
In the eyes of
What's
in the eyes of our 1-star Andes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, we were.
Wait, how can you not appreciate free? I mean, technically they're not free because you're paying for a subscription.
Yeah.
But how do you argue
I don't know how many
against the
ti-
awesomeness
It's true. You're
of Game
paying.
Pass?
We're paying for a subscription, and how many times have we said, "Oh, it's free on Game Pass"?
But I mean, but do we really want to have to sit down and do the math and say I played 23 games this month, so each game technically cost me 17 cents? No, I don't want to do that. I want to say
Free.
I buy a subscription,
Yeah.
and then everything is
Well,
free after.
what's funny is it was actually frustrating to buy Battlefield and Guardians and stuff
because you had to.
because you're like, are you
Yeah,
kidding
it
me?
ruins us. It
No,
ruins
actually,
us.
speaking of that, what's really going to be interesting if Sony goes through with this and they become a player in the subscription service
Players.
With
is
no R.
the
Play,
the battle between third-party developers.
Oh, it's heating up, man.
Yeah, because what do you do? Like, hey, EA, why don't you come over to our stream? Because I assume there's going to be deals that say, hey, EA's next Battlefield game is on this service, but not this service, or the next Resident Evil is on this service. You know what I mean?
It'll probably screw us over, and PlayStation will get a map for a year, like in Destiny, that we never get to play, and a weapon that we never get to have. So if something like that, it just hurts us. It just hurts us if that's the case that happens. That's my guess. But regardless, I think having a competitive Game Pass is a super cool thing. It's going to make competition push all the benefits all over our faces.
All over. WrestleGo in chat says, you're all the best gaming podcast ever. Hey, thank you very much, WrestleGo. But Jeffrey Scripter writes in and says, make an application that includes Sony Studio movies firsthand along with the games. That
Sony
could be huge.
What would you call it?
See, I don't know that they could do that, though.
Sony Flicks?
Sony Flicks.
They call it Sony Spartacus.
So, yeah, I guess. I mean, hey, yeah, we could do that.
But no, I don't, because here's the thing. Sony, all of their movies have contracts and deals with different subscription services probably right now. But that is an interesting an interesting tool or an interesting benefit.
So did Disney movies and NBC movies, and they were just like, oh, okay, we'll just pull them all off.
Yeah, that's what they did. They just
Yeah,
yanked them
because
all.
isn't there
isn't
there Peacock now? Which, by the way,
Excuse
no,
me.
there's too many services.
Which, by the way, I'm not against Peacock because there are like shows that NBC does have that are
but
for,
are they
like
good?
Office. But the thing is like, how did that make it through the like that?
But
that,
they don't- but
the
they don't have shows like
Peacock, No.
Office.
I'm saying the name. Like Peacock
okay.
is an example of that should have been the code name.
There you
and
go.
then they
Well,
should have, you know.
If I were to have Peacock,
I get why it's called Peacock.
Let me tell you something, Jordan. If I were to have Peacock as my gamer tag, I would not be able to play Forza.
Yes, true. Which are you still?
I
free?
am still unbanned. Thank
the free
goodness.
free spicy
I
campaign
attribute
worked.
it all to everyone that helped the
Free spicy campaign worked. He's gold.
Doesn't Peacock have Office? Because doesn't NBC own it?
No, so NBC created it, but I think Fox. Oh, I think
What about,
Disney owns.
What about Friends? Doesn't Friends own?
No, again.
NBC?
No, again.
Oh,
they
really?
were all on NBC, but who actually owns it is Disney.
I think Disney pretty much owns anything.
CBS is a big one. So CBS and
Yeah,
HBO.
Cause,
HBO.
well,
they all,
because Paramount Plus is CBS.
yeah, dude. I don't know. Who knows? We're talking so big.
See,
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, not
Yeah.
necessarily a bad name. They just stole Disney Plus's name with their own name.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, plus,
Peacock, on the other hand,
plus Ultra. It could be Sony plus Ultra.
yeah, they could.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it'll keep going. That's very Japanese though, to add the Ultra at the end.
Yeah.
And then they could do
Ultra.
S plus.
Ultra S.
And then S plus plus. And then they'll start to say Sony New Game plus plus Ultra. That's my guess.
That is true. That's
Yeah.
true. Let's talk about some other big news that came up this week, and that is Mr. Vince Zampelli. We did get a question from Cyberknife. He wrote in and asked, "Do you bros think Vince Zampella?" Sorry, I said Zampelli. Who am I?
That's cool. That is Zampelli.
Vince
Zampelli sounds like
Vince Zampella. Do you bros think Vince Zampella can save the mess of Battlefield 2042? Let's go to Jordan on this.
Well,
Jordan.
so I want to say
First, explain what happened this week.
Okay, so what happened
and
this
then let's
week
answer that
is
question.
well. Let me go back to the beginning.
Let's pull up some Battlefield footage.
Okay,
here.
I'll
So-
pull that up. Yeah.
The Battlefield beta came out, and there was a lot of polarization between it. I was on the side of being pretty hyped
this
for
is
it.
the beta. Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt that they could fix most of the issues in the beta before launch, which, that being said, they did fix a lot of the main complaints that I had. Unfortunately, at launch, they just introduced like a lot more.
Okay.
So launch did not go smooth. Then Halo came out free to play early, and I think kind of really just took the wind out of the sails of Battlefield. And it's just it struggled, which is a shame because there's a lot there that could make it a great game. You know,
Yeah.
it can be one of the best Battlefields,
best
but
of
they're
all
just
time.
they're just not quite there yet. So EA this week made a bunch of changes. So Oscar Gabrielson, he's the general manager of Battlefield and Dice, right? He is actually leaving the studio. I don't know exactly what happened because all this was announced at the same time, whether he's leaving by himself or if there was someone who asked him to leave.
Yeah.
You know, none of that I don't know, so don't ask. But anyway, so with that happening, Vince Zampelli is now in charge of the entire Battlefield franchise. He is the head of the franchise, which is big. And then they also got Marcus Leto. For those of you that don't know, Marcus Leto is an original Bungie developer, and he is one of the co-creators of Halo. He is also creating a new studio in Seattle or up in Washington, which we kind of already knew about, but he's going to be in charge of the narrative in the
story.
Yeah, the narrative in what they're going to do going forward, which is create a Battlefield universe, is what it sounds like. So they're going to have multiple mediums of Battlefield. There was rumors about a free-to-play Battlefield, different Battlefield game. Like, there's going to be this overall narrative for this Battlefield universe, which is going to include 2042, and it sounds like they're going to probably do some narrative for later seasons, because we know Battlefield is going to have seasons and battle passes and stuff like that. It sounds like his studio, Marcus Leto, is going to be in charge of not only the universe narrative, but narrative for those seasons as well, later seasons, because I'm sure they probably already have the first two kind of lined up. But what's interesting about this is it's a really big change, moving Vince Zampelli over to
Zampella.
Sorry, see,
Yes, gotcha.
What you did, David.
I
Look
gotcha.
what you did.
I don't think it'll hurt. I think he knows.
He knows what he's doing.
I think he knows shooters, especially Vince Zampella. For those of you that don't know, is the first Modern Warfare, the very first one. Was it Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare? The one that basically is the foundation of every shooter nowadays. He then created Respawn, which is Titanfall, Titanfall 2, and Last Jedi, and then Apex.
Phenomenal
the
resume.
the guy has a really good resume of shooters. I think he knows how to manage studios. Managing, I think he's I think he's a good pick for the job.
Okay, do you think
know?
he can save the mess, the question from Cyberknife, of 2042?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think anything can be saved.
Look at Battlefield 4.
Yeah, look at Battlefield
turned
4.
that around.
I think anything can be saved. I think Battlefield 2042 can be saved.
Is it
Let's
that
be honest.
bad?
Battlefield 2042 is not Cyberpunk. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay.
Like, there's a lot of frustrations with Battlefield 2042. I think there's on the PC especially. I feel bad for some of the PC issues that are going on. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation because there is issues with Battlefield 2042, which is unfortunately disappointing. And makes me sad because my hype was all ready for Battlefield 2042. But there is a good game there, and it's not, like I said, it's not Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. There's some adjustments that need to be made. There's some adjustments that have already been made, and then there's a couple more patches, and we can be right there on solid ground, and then moving towards the future. But I like Vince Zampelli. He hasn't done anything to upset me. And I think he's good at his job, according to his resume.
All things we like.
Yeah.
All things that are good. So good signs. Cyberknife, thank you very much for writing in that question. Battlefield 2042. I mean, there's so many games to play right now, and there's just so much big news surrounding those games to play. Halo Infinite. Again, we're going to talk about
this
third week in a row. Some huge changes here with the XP. They adjusted the daily XP changes so that now you're getting this progressive XP, whereas you start at, what is it, 7 or 300 for your first game, and then it goes down 7 games, and on your 7th game you get 50 XP just for playing the game.
So basically, if you play your first 6 games with no boost, just standard, play 6 games a day, you'll go up 1 level in the battle pass, because the first game is 300 XP for completing a match, 2 and 3 are 200, and then 4, 5, and 6 are 100, which equals 1,000, and then after that it's just 7th and forward is just 50.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. We'll start with you, Jordan, and then we'll go to Mr. McSpicy afterwards. But Jordan, does this fix the progression issues for you?
No.
Okay, why not?
I think the progression issues lie a lot deeper.
Deep.
Yeah, so when I think of progression as multiple things.
Outside of even the battle pass.
Yeah. I still believe there needs to be a actual level attached to your name. Okay. Whether that's just time played or some type of MMR, I don't really care how they do it. I would just like some type of icon saying, "Wow, that guy's level 10." You know what I mean, or whatever. I think this is a part of the progression, customization. I think a lot more customization. I'm fine with how you customize your character. I think more items and how to get items need to be added. For example, I think if I get 50 kills with a AR, I should get a skin for that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If I get 10 headshots or 50 headshots with a battle rifle, I should get a skin for that. Basically, what I'm saying is I think they should take Call of Duty's weapon progression, like their weapon unlocks, and put it in Halo. I'm not saying make Halo like Call of Duty, but the way Call of Duty does their weapons, and even Battlefield, 10 kills get you this skin. 25 kills get you this skin. You know what I mean? I think there needs to be other avenues of progression to earn items that you can use to customize your Spartan.
Okay.
I do think this is an improvement. Me personally, I would prefer a different system because this is super front-loaded. So it rewards you for jumping in and playing your a few games. But what about the person that wants to take the day off of work and just play 18 hours of Halo? He gets bottle capped at game 6.
18 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not young anymore. I don't know if I can do that.
That was just an example. But for example,
I got to have my Pringles and my Mountain Dew for sure if that's the case.
I took Wednesday off of work because I'm excited to play the campaign. I'm going to hit it hard all day. Let's say multiplayer does that. People take days off for games and multiplayer. I'm not saying that they need to be given tons of XP every time they play, but I'm saying they should be rewarded for playing your game.
Yeah. So can I respond to that real quick?
Yes.
I think that the reason
Rebuttal, David.
Rebuttal. 2 minutes for rebuttal.
2 minutes.
No, I'm not. It's not a rebuttal, but I do. I actually appreciate that they're essentially throttling your progression, and and I think that was always the intention with the challenges. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason is, and I would be curious at what numbers they have on their side or what studies have been done with battle passes. I, as someone who is more casual than you guys and doesn't have a chance to play as much, or just doesn't play as much, put in as many hours, even if this is just psychological, because I'm not saying that it's reality, but even if it's just psychological, it gives me I don't feel like there's not this pressure for me, I've got to play, or, I've missed out, I can't catch up to those guys anyways, I'm just not going to play, because that has happened with some games. I specifically have not jumped into some games because my friends are too far ahead. What's the point? Mr. McSpicy with Elder Scrolls Online. He never joined us in Elder Scrolls. By the time he jumped in, we're too far gone. I feel like what they're wanting, and in their statements in the past, is they do want to throttle. They don't want to make it impossible for you to go in and put in 24 hours and make progression in the battle pass, but they are throttling it, I think. to not reward players that do that.
Well, yeah. So, and I get what you're saying, but if you're being throttled at the top end, people are going to be throttled at the bottom end too.
I don't
So,
know.
like,
I don't understand.
If I
what you're
put
saying.
in, so the way the system works right now, it's all XP based on playing games, right? If I put in 20 hours, I'm 20 hours ahead of you on the battle pass. You're not magically going to be able to skip 18 of those hours to catch up to me because it's throttling me. You're going to have to go through that exact same time. And potentially longer or shorter because of the randomness of the challenges and the randomness of the game.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know. I don't know what their numbers are in the back end. But despite how it breaks down in reality, the perception still is like, oh well, you can only. I know Jordan the Man can only go so fast, or Mr. McSpicy. I don't have to have this stress that turns me off of playing games of trying to keep up with you guys.
But if I can only go so fast, you can only go so fast
True.
too, right? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
true.
So it's just it's the same.
Spicy, what are your thoughts on all these discussions we're having?
Well, I'm trying to digest everything that Jordan said.
Okay.
Because I agree with him and I agree with you.
Oh, just like last week.
Yeah, but at different times.
But yes, not all of it.
Well, while you're digesting,
I can talk.
No. But let me
cut me off.
I want to just make sure we
Okay.
get.
We've decided
Take
we
it
don't
away,
want to hear
David.
your
My
opinion.
rebuttal sucks.
No, I just want to make sure before I forget that we do shout out. We get to our super chats here, and I've missed two of them. Loyal Doyle had a super chat that says, "Cool, thank you very
All
much,
right.
Loyal Doyle." Vic the Click says Friday is here, and the body knows it. Oh, we know it too. I feel you there. So thank you very much for the super
Do you
chats.
know
guys.
how bad my memory is, David? Now I probably have no idea what I'm going to say. I'm getting old.
You agree with both of us at different times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I'm going to ask Jordan.
Yeah.
How many games do it well without? Okay, well, let's talk about the balance of the hardcore players that play 8 hours a day, and then the casuals like David that play an hour if they can get
Okay.
to it. Okay. You're trying as a developer to try to balance those
yeah,
out.
exactly. Yeah.
What game does that well?
Or the best.
I haven't played it in 2 seasons, but at the time I did play it, Apex does it the best.
Okay.
And funny enough, they use a challenge system to do it.
Now let me
So
ask you this.
it can be done well.
Who does it besides them? The list is small.
Yeah, well, that's
And
Vince Zampelli. Vince Zampella.
we're gonna call him
Zampella.
Yeah, I
Zampelli
know,
from
yeah,
now
yeah,
on.
I know.
Zampelli.
Yeah.
Zampelli.
So my thing is, it's such a hard thing to deal with. It's what you're dealing with is the challenges, and that's kind of one of the biggest. I mean, it's good for some things, but it's bad for others. I think going back to the original question we've been talking about, was it improved? I think it absolutely is
Sure,
far
absolutely.
better
Yeah.
than 0. And then to give us 50 to like trickle in that, you're sitting there, can I have more, please? More
more,
porridge?
sir.
More porridge, please? Because you just can't get any of the XP.
Oh, go ahead. Are you
Oh, yeah, I'm not done.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
My issues aren't necessarily reward, unreward those that play and not play. My issue is with challenges in general. I have always thought that they could be far better if they, I mentioned this last week, if they did not include challenges that have game types.
Sure.
It's like being taken to a restaurant and then being forced to eat something you hate just so you can eat.
Or being said, this half the menu is not for you.
This half the menu is not for you. I especially when it's the only XP you can get, it's really frustrating. And this is battle passes in general. Although I would say Fortnite did it pretty good. It was, even though it was gun kills and stuff, because there was only one game mode.
Well, see,
essentially,
that's the same with Apex.
Apex.
Since there's the main game mode battle royale,
Then
it's
all
easy.
fits into that. With Hearthstone, I'm going to bring up Hearthstone again. With Hearthstone, it would try to force me to play Battlegrounds, and I hated Battlegrounds. I didn't have the time to sit down for 20 minutes per game, focus entirely. It was just my playstyle. I didn't like it. So those challenges just took up a slot, and they only allowed you to swap once per day. This, with last week's, we had the Fiesta mode. When you're forced to do that type of game type, what happens when you don't like that game type? It's going to be not a pleasant experience for a lot of gamers. All you got to do is get rid of game types, especially in a game that doesn't allow you to choose game types. That I think hurts the entire integrity of competition when you decide to go into a match and then instantly, poof, 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 all these players disappear from the intro screen because they don't have oddball.
Yeah, it is true.
Well, I think it's...
No, sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
I was going to say, I think it's compounded issues. Like you said, I'm not against the challenges. I'm fine with challenges and progressing. Even if progressing the battle pass is only through challenges, I'm fine with that. The problem is you're giving me like a hard limit, and it's like I said last week, we're being double natted. It's a random challenge and a random game mode. So if I have play oddball, again, from my example, I went 2 hours without playing oddball. You know, now that might be rectified. I do want to read this next one.
Rectification.
John Yunsek, he's one of the community managers over for 343. He says, "Let's talk about Halo Infinite playlist. We've been reading your feedback, and we're working on plans to add Fiesta, Tactical Slayer, which is SWAT. Thank goodness. Love SWAT.
Yeah, that's good.
And free for all playlists as we speak. They won't land by December 8th, but the team is pushing to get them before the holiday year. So that's good. That's a good step.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem is the problem Jordan is having is the hard limit. Like the governor. They're putting a governor. It's throttling the XP hard and then less hard and then a little less hard. That's what's happening.
Well, and then it's just, like I said, compounded issues. I want to unlock stuff to customize my Spartan because, believe it or not, Halo's always been at least since Halo 3, and I think even in Halo 2, there's been a lot of customization with your multiplayer Spartans. When you go to the your armor hall and you check your Spartan, it's going to say one of two things. In the store now, check back later. Yeah. You know, and you're like, so the only way to get customization is through the battle pass, which we have our issues because of challenges and grinding to get there. And it feels like sometimes you have to pay for weapon swaps, and I think that, or challenge swaps, and I think that's the main issue is people feel like they have to pay to progress.
Well, and also all the cool stuff, sorry to interrupt you, all the cool stuff is paid.
Yeah.
Like 100% of the cool stuff you have to buy.
And then you go down to the next tier and you're like, oh, okay, I want this item. Oh, this is only available in the store. And you're like, okay, let's go down to the next tier. And it says check back later. And you're like, oh. So it's just, that's why I think, why not do something like 50 headshots with a BR gets you a special BR skin. You know, stuff like that. Yeah. Make some, not all the stuff, but some of the stuff unlockable through the player's actions in game.
You sound like you hate the game, Jordan.
No, I really like the game a lot.
That's the thing. We have these discussions because we love the game so much.
And what's funny is I don't think a game has ever done this to me where the gameplay, the maps, the fun factor, the what, like everything about the game is top tier. But the way I progress in the game is not, and it's like this weird, it's just this weird conflict.
We did ask a poll question: who agrees with X1? Our respondents, I do 50%, and me 50%. So 100%, they agree with me.
Yeah.
What was your rebuttal?
I would like to say how you posted that poll is how 343 developed their progression system.
Speaking of Halo Infinite, we got some freaking sweet campaign trailers.
Oh yeah,
this week.
Yeah, the launch trailer.
Some really good launch trailers. How excited I am more excited now for Halo Infinite campaign and what it's going to bring and how many days are we? We're 5 days away.
Wednesday,
as of
December,
next
podcast,
December
we will be talking about it.
We will
about
have
the
played
campaign.
it.
Yeah. Now, Jordan, you're the big lore guy.
Yeah.
Thoughts about what you saw in these campaigns? So one was like, I'll tell you what Microsoft is doing right before you answer. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're doing what PlayStation does really well with their ads, where they're putting you inside of gaming, like you are this hero.
Yeah.
They do that with a lot of their ads. They've been doing it for years. Microsoft is doing this with Halo, and it's working so well. They went back through history. You're the hero. Become the hero. Halo Infinite. But then they showed off some, in their other trailer, there was some lore stuff there.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited that they're going to be doing stuff. The story still continues from Halo 5, so it's not just like a wash. I think the story that continues from Halo 5 is going to be more of a side story, and they're going to kind of focus on something else, a different main story, which will kind of be the Banished. But the game looks good. I'm really excited for it. That trailer was awesome. Master Chief I think they went through how many one-liners that were really cool in that trailer. No, it's
You only
it's
have one bullet. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all I
need.
That's enough.
I think they've done a good job of getting us excited for characters. I'm excited for the weapon, which is, I mean, we don't know what she is, but I think she's kind of our new Cortana. Our new Cortana, you know. I'm really excited for what the internet has called Bro Hammer, because if you remember from the first game, it was Faux Hammer was your Pelican, and this is the Pelican pilot, and so the internet's calling him Bro Hammer. We don't know his name yet.
Maybe I'll change my gamer tag to that.
Bro Hammer. Yeah. So I'm interested to find out more about those characters. I think I'm excited to explore this. Again, you don't want to call it an open world, but a more explorable Halo.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what they do with side quests. I'm excited to see what they do with the future, how they add story. Because I think this is going to be the first Halo game where we're actually going to get story content added to a mainline Halo game. I mean, I guess Halo Wars did that, but I mean, none of the main title Halo games have ever added story DLC. They've always just went on to the next game.
Yeah.
Which will be super exciting. But no, I'm excited. I'm trying to like tamper my expectations because I did this with Battlefield. I was super excited. Yeah, they're going to fix all the problems. It's going to be great. And then they didn't. I mean, they had new, same with Cyberpunk. So I'm trying to like, I don't think Halo's going to be either of those games. But a slight part of me worries,
Yeah, no, I understand.
But overall, I thought that trailer was awesome. I think it was a cool launch trailer, and I'm really excited to finally jump in.
Real quick, Brad Lecomte in
And
chat,
become.
just on the whole Halo Infinite, going back to the multiplayer discussion, he says, Brad Lecomte in chat says, I actually like the limited maps and modes because it helps me to learn the maps better and make more strategic plays. If everything dropped at once, it would be kind of overwhelming to try to learn all the maps and modes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Good point, Brad Lecomte. Thank you very much. And your boy Will has been waiting all week to hear your opinion on the campaign.
I know he told me on was it? No, I'm really excited for it. I took the day off.
Boom.
It's great.
Spicy, how about yourself? Anything stand out to you in the trailers on the Halo Infinite campaign?
I mean, it looks good. What else to cover?
Yeah.
I like.
Well, I'll tell you what I noticed in particularly the gameplay trailer is how much better it looks. It looks its next generation graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing I'm really hoping for?
Give it to me.
Okay, we've all played Halo Wars 2.
I'm gonna I will pull up the trailer.
We all know who the Banished are. I think the Banished are an excellent enemy.
Oh yeah.
I'm really glad that they're going to be our main enemies rather than like Forerunners and stuff like in the previous game. I really hope Atriox makes an appearance.
He probably
he is the leader of the Banished.
He probably will.
It would be really cool to see him in a first-person shooter game.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's also rumors. These are just rumors, so neither confirmed nor denied.
Neither confirm nor deny.
But rumors that there might be a hint of some flood hanging around in places.
Well, I mean, it would be a Halo game if there wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
When was the last game we had the flood?
3.
Yeah.
So it would be cool, and the Halo lore, like Flood was tested on Halo rings, so they're there. I don't know. There's a lot of excitement. I thought that trailer was excellent.
They've done good.
I think their marketing team is on point.
On point.
And I'm excited to jump in.
Get hyped. Matthew Bennett writes in and says the limited playlist on Halo multiplayer also ensures people can find a match quickly.
True, and that would be important, I would think, a lot later when the audience is less. But right now, when you have millions of people playing, I don't think that's too big of an issue.
And the fact that you're free to play and have cross-play also widens that pool. Yeah. But even if you take, I get what you're saying, and I like the quickness of the matches, but if you take Master Chief Collection, which had a variety of playlists, it never took super long to find a match either.
This is not like Overwatch.
After they fixed it.
Yeah.
It's not like waiting 15 minutes for an Overwatch match.
To be honest, I don't really think about match time because I've played a lot of early Tarkov and I've played a lot of Overwatch, which is like 20 minutes.
What was our record for Tarkov?
I think it was almost 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
And then you get like domed in the head.
Yeah, popped by a hacker.
Yeah, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Gosh. Welcome to Tarkov.
But
Rick Gaffney writes in and says, "What do you think of the possible Xbox handheld coming with the partnership between Xbox and Razer? We know there's a partnership with Xbox and Razer. Do you think a handheld is in the works? And handholding. Is there a handheld?
Are they
going
gonna
to
hold my hand
at all here? Can I go ahead and answer that?
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think there is at all.
I agree with you.
I think handheld is if you're going to try to jump into the handheld space with Nintendo, you'd go there to die. And I think with streaming, you really don't need your handheld device is your phone, it's your laptop, it's your tablet. That is a much more viable way, I think, to compete in the handheld space than actually building a handheld. Maybe they do some sort of special limited edition. Remember, you can also do Valve's new handheld as well with Game Pass.
Well, and I think that's how they're going to do it. Instead of making an actual physical handheld that they own, the way they do handheld...
Outsource it.
Well, the way they do handheld gaming systems is through Game Pass.
Yeah, essentially outsource
Let Steam make a portable computer that people can buy, and Game Pass is already on there, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe make a deal with Nintendo.
Rip City Raider writes in and says, "What if Halo let people play multiplayer on PlayStation, but you can only play the campaign on Xbox or PC?" Damn.
but
Next level thinking.
yes, but I don't think
not gonna
Microsoft would ever
Yeah.
No, it's not
take
happening.
their flagship game and say, you know what, Sony, come join us.
I like it, but I don't
But
think
that's a
gonna
good
happen.
idea.
Because
that's
I mean,
awesome.
it's because you could use the same argument in reverse, right? Like,
Yeah.
what if we got to
God
play
of War.
Yeah, God of War, but I don't
But
know.
we could only play with our right
Does
hand.
Sony have a flagship first-person shooter?
Well, they have first-person
They have
shooters.
Killzone,
Yeah,
right?
Killzone.
But is there one that is on the same level of?
Like Halo?
Like
Well,
a
I
Halo?
mean, but they have not so exclusively.
Yeah.
exclusively? I don't think so.
No, I
Well,
don't think
not
so either.
anything that makes waves like Call of Duty. Well, those are all not like a Halo. I don't
Yeah.
think.
But I think Halo competes more with Call of Duty and Battlefield than it does with like a Sony exclusive.
Well, but again, having said that,
And I think Sony,
Xbox has no story-driven game.
yeah, see,
that
and that's what I
competes
think. I
with
think Sony shifted to do more story-focused games.
Yeah.
Well, and then they put all their budget into getting Call of Duty for like the tournaments and all that stuff and exclusive advertising rights with Call of Duty.
Rick Gaffney, thank you very much for writing in. Appreciate it. Let's take one last question here.
Okay.
Jank the Tank writes in because you're about to learn why we're taking this question.
Yeah.
Jank the Tank writes in and says it's been a rough week with the Oklahoma loss, the OU loss, then the domino effect of OU getting reamed with Lincoln Riley headed over to the less superior USC. Ooh, shots fired.
Wow.
Jank the Tank and all our players bailing. However. How do you guys plan on keeping spoilers for Halo Infinite away for each other since campaign co-op is held up till May? So we did a good job with Red Dead Redemption. We pretty much stayed on. We were close to each other in beating Red Dead Redemption, and I imagine we handled the same thing with
Halo.
With Halo, he says, "Do you plan on no sleep till completion, or just radio silence of all media and friends until completion?" Spicy, let's start with you.
Well, these guys are usually pretty good. Jordan has learned very, he's been a really good guy in saying, you need to finish it so I can talk to you about it. He says that quite a bit with a lot of games with me. I actually don't watch a lot of reviews. I don't watch a lot of. I'm like an outcast when it comes to following up with all things on the internet. I'm kind of a internet loner. I don't know what else to call it. I'm very private. So
Yeah.
I tend to be okay with spoilers because I avoid things at all costs. Although, do you know what I hate? Is when advertisements on YouTube spoil the crap out of the shows I'm watching.
You gotta get YouTube Red, man.
I know.
YouTube Red.
But I hate it. I know that there's like, I don't know, the gentleman's agreement when it comes to
Spoilers.
spoiler times, I don't know whether 2 weeks, 1 year, whatever it is. But like, I still to this day have not finished Mandalorian. But this is back when it was still fresh. And Disney was coming out with trailers that spoiled the crap out of that show. Don't say anything still.
They do the story from the previous season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your fault, though.
It is, but I actively avoid stuff like that. But I can't dodge ads sometimes. Sometimes ads are
dodge
right on my.
everything.
I can't. Yeah, ads are in my face, and Anyways, so I do okay. It's just when Disney gets involved, I get screwed.
Yeah.
How's that?
Jordan the man, how about you? And while you're answering your question, McSpicy, will you tee up the USC fight song for me real quick while I answer for mine?
Are we going to get flagged for copyright on that one?
You shouldn't on that one. Go ahead, Jordan the man, though.
No, I'm probably going to be one of the ones that plays through till I at least beat it. I think I'll start on heroic this time, and then afterwards start my legendary playthrough. But no, yeah, I probably won't watch any reviews or anything like that because I really want to go in. I'm excited for these new characters they've introduced. I'm excited to see where they're taking the story. There's a lot of interest I have in this new story to see what they're doing, and I think I'm just going to play through and not sleep.
said.
I think I'm going to be one of those guys.
Same with me. Please cue the USC fight song.
You got it, David. Here we go.
That's right. We're gonna play this while we answer this question. First of all, let me kindly, for Jag the Tank, let me welcome Lincoln Riley to the University of Southern California, the USC Trojans. He wasn't able to win a championship, a national title with OU, but he's coming to California. He's gonna win it here with us. And
This is quite the build-up. Do you want me to skip ahead?
no, it's happening right here. Here we go.
And
Here we go. Zoomed it. The camera's on me.
It's on you. It's on you.
Okay, here we go. Jank the Tank. Yes. Thank you for your Lincoln Riley. We appreciate it. We appreciate it here at USC, and we're glad to have him. Hashtag fight on. Fight on, baby. No, Halo Infinite. I don't think it's been an issue. I think we did a really good job with Red Dead Redemption, with big campaigns that we all want to play. We do a pretty good job of. Jordan usually finishes first, followed by Spicy, and then I'm usually. But it's usually within like a week of each other.
Yeah.
So that's probably what we're gonna do with Halo Infinite. And Jake the Tank, thank you very much. Thank you very much for writing in. Appreciate it. That does us for today's show, everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be a short and sweet show this week.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
How we like it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. For everybody who joined us live, there's a lot of new guys live here that we haven't seen before. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't yet, youtube.com/X1Bros. Come join us over here. It's where we live stream. Also, go leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and it really helps us. It helps the show. It helps grow the show. We are growing. We saw ready for this, 21% growth this last year in the podcast. So
good.
So huge.
Thank you.
That's big when you look at those numbers. Those are big numbers. So
if we were public, the stock would have shot up.
shot right up.
Yeah, 21%.
21% is huge. Yeah. Hey guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We love you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.